had his own part. It was like, wow, yeah, do it. Because, wasn't that beautiful what he did on the bass? Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, guys. Okay. Oh, it is on. Wow. Okay. Well, good morning again. I'm going to invite you to join me in the prayer for protection, because I need all the help I can get. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Oh, as some people say, all is swell or groovy, but it's all good. Okay, I have a question. What is darkness?
Absence of light.
Okay, there's one answer there. Cool. Absence of light.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Okay. Anybody else?
Fear.
Fear. Okay.
Separation.
Separation.
Negativity.
Negativity.
Isolation.
Isolation. Those are all great answers. They really are. But I just thought I'd pose a question to see what, because I agree with everyone's answer. I agree with.
Ooh, I got one thing. Black is not the absence of color. Black is all colors.
Okay. So what was said in those that can't hear, black isn't the absence of color. Black is all the colors combined. Okay. So, all right. So the title of this message is "The Darkness is for Growth." There is light in the darkness. And so my intention is just to share some things I'm aware of that I've learned over the years. Some things that I've received from the darkness, from what I thought at times was terrible, awful. And maybe it was at the time, but as we hopefully get wiser and have more experience, and our perception and perspective, they change. So, and I remember one time my wife said, I don't think you should, but the irony is should, use the word darkness because it's depressing. But earlier she declared there were no shoulds, so I'm using the word darkness in the title. So next question. What is darkness for?
Rest.
Rest, okay. I heard something else.
I said the same thing.
Okay. Yes?
Sometimes darkness is something you're going through in order to get to a greater light.
Okay. So,
I've had experience.
yeah, I hear you loud and clear, Glenn. So two people said darkness is for rest, but also it's to get you to a greater place, basically.
Growth.
It's growth. Yep. And that's good that you said growth, because what do I mean the darkness is for growth? Okay. Let's look at nature. So seeds sprout in darkness. Carrots, onions, potatoes, and peanuts grow underground in the darkness. It's funny, I was talking to Jim earlier about corn sweat. I know I'm digressing. But I was reading an article yesterday that was talking about the Midwest, and it's been really hot there and very humid. And part of the reason is because they have so much corn that an acre of corn puts out about 3,000 gallons of vapor every hour. So that's so much more humidity in there. So plants are interesting. Nature is interesting. Anyway, I digress. And I said I owned it. All right. Have you ever gone out in the morning and said, dang, my lawn grew overnight? Anybody? I promise this happened to me a whole lot. Yeah. And guess what? It did. Because most of the growth occurs in the darkness of night because the plants store up nutrients during the day and they put on a growth spurt at night. So Mother Nature knows a lot of stuff that I don't know. Okay, in astronomy and celestial mechanics, dark energy is a form of energy that permeates all of space, and it actually is helping to accelerate the expansion of the universe. It's said, and the statistic might have changed in the last year or two, but it's said that dark energy comprises about 73% of the total mass energy in the universe. And it's the most accepted theory of how the universe is expanding, according to all the brainy people that know that kind of stuff. So the dark energy is what keeps the universe in a continuous state of transformation. Another question. What creates everything, including dark energy and darkness?
Spirit.
Spirit. Is one answer? God. And, I'm sorry.
Same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got an answer.
Uh-huh.
The molecules, they happened a long, long time ago. One molecule hit another one, and they're still hitting each other.
Okay.
So there's energy created in all sorts of ways.
So that's kind of like the two clouds bump together and make lightning.
Yeah,
That is not true. That is not a scientific fact.
a
Okay.
different thought on creation.
But the thing is, I mean, I think what people said, God's spirit, which created darkness and everything else. Okay. So a lot of us have had experienced darkness in our life, have gone through difficult times. In June 1988, my dad had been ill. They couldn't figure out why. They'd even gone inside. They couldn't figure it out. They even sent him to a psych hospital for a couple of days. And he called me up. He said, "These people are wacko. Get me out of here." So anyway, we ended up taking him to a specialist in Florida because it turned out he had pancreatic cancer. Now, it's hard enough to find nowadays. But back then, it was really hard to discover someone had pancreatic cancer. So they went in. They were going to remove the pancreas, but they got in there. It already spread to the liver, so they just closed them back up. And he said to them, he asked them, "How long do I have?" And they said 3 months. And so he said to me, "I'm going to prove them wrong." And he did. My dad was fairly stoic. He was very logical and rational. To me, he was like Spock from Star Trek. Lots of knowledge about all kinds of things and pretty logical. But he was also very nurturing. And when we were kids, he'd take us in nature and, just taught us about things. And we had pet snakes and lizards and 40 turtles at one time. And I mean, just a lot. So, but the thing is that he claimed to either be atheist or agnostic. Most of my life I remember him claiming that. And then during this time, the last 13 months of his life, we had a lot of heart-to-heart talks about all kinds of things. But one of the things that he experienced was a spiritual transformation. About 2 months before he died, one day he said to me, "I never realized there was so much love." I'm going to repeat that. I never realized there was so much love. And I think to him, I knew he was experiencing inner peace, serenity, and to me, that was his understanding of call it God, spirit, higher power, is the love that he was feeling from people who loved him. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, from the Paul McCartney song, Let It Be. But that's the thing is like, he had this experience and he recognized that there's so much love. Okay, being in the darkness is difficult. Anybody disagree with that? I don't see any hands going up. So how does one get through it? Well, with internal and external support. Now, by no means do I claim to be a Bible scholar. I know not nothing, but next to nothing, except for what I read every now and then or what I Google. Show me where it says something. So the book of John proclaims God is light. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Now, does that sound like an accurate statement, Pat and Glenn?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm asking them because they're ministers. They're well versed. So, and in the book of Matthew, it says Jesus taught with God, all things are possible. Okay, that makes sense to me. Some things I would question, but what I've learned and with my faith is that, yeah, I think that is true. Maybe I can't do it all by myself, but with God. So in our humanness, darkness can seem so overwhelmingly scary, depressing, angry, sad, and painful. Would you all agree with that? I mean, when we're in a dark place, and sometimes I can remember thinking, I'm the only one who feels this. Now that's, was not an accurate, realistic statement. Because later on I realized, no, most humans have probably felt this at one time or another. But, when I was younger and there's a lot of times I've just really put myself in that victim mode of thinking, and I'm the only one. Poor, poor, pitiful me. No, I wasn't the only one. However, what I was going through was difficult. And, I see people go through difficulty. So in dealing with darkness, we can come from a consciousness of negative fear, which is FEAR. Fudge everything and run. That's the nice way to say it. I said fudge. Fudge everything and run. Or I can come from a place of positive, courageous fear. Because a firefighter, if they're running into a burning building, I promise you that firefighter feels fear. But the courage is what keeps them going in to do their job. So, FEAR, face everything and recover. I have a choice. So, but with positive fear, we get to rely on faith. Because that's, what I needed in my life. And the dictionary definition of faith is belief in or trust in somebody or something, especially without logical proof. Okay? Anybody else got a definition for faith that you want to share? No? I mean, that one works for me. I'm trusting, because that's really what it is. I'm trusting. And then in the Bible in Hebrews it says, faith is a confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. Anybody ever had difficulty having faith? I saw 1 hand, 2, 3 hands, 4 hands, 5 hands. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, in fact, if you have the energy, stand up. Everybody stand up, please. I feel you. I'm hearing that. I hear you. My body understands. Okay. Go ahead and sit back down, please.
Is that the exercise?
Simon says.
If you want to.
I'm just checking.
So, guess what? I did not see anybody look at their chair, to make sure it was stable and wasn't going to collapse on them. So that was an act of faith. We had faith in the chair. You know, if we can have faith in the chair, are we willing to have faith in something much bigger? Call it God, Spirit, whatever name you choose to call it. I like how PJ, talks to George. I love it. So we all have faith because we just demonstrated it. When we're in the darkness, it can seem as if we cannot see. Yet, if we pay attention, we can see light in the darkness. And this light can appear in many forms and come from different places. Some of my experience, a few months after my father died, I wasn't allowing myself to grieve. I'd already been grieving before he died. I thought I should be done with it because I knew he was going to die and I'd been doing a lot of grieving. Well, no, I wasn't done yet, but I wouldn't let myself go through it. I was in a dysfunctional relationship, and it seemed like I was just stuck in the darkness. I was at an emotional bottom. My dad then came to me in a dream. He was this awesome being of light and love. It was amazing. I knew he was okay. I mean, it was just amazing. It was so clear and so amazing. And as I'm talking about it, I'm tingling inside because it was transformative for me. It was like a big seed was being planted. And when the night is cloudy, there's still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. And I was that light. He was sharing light with me. And then, so I started doing some things differently. I made like a 1-degree shift in my thinking and consciousness. I started doing some things to actually care for myself, to take care of myself, instead of staying in a victim mentality. And then a few weeks after that one dream, he came to me in another dream and assured me I was going to be okay. I was like, wow. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So, there are all kinds of forms of light. Back then, I had a dog. Her name was Dusty. She was definitely a light in my life. I had some friends and some family members that were supportive. So in the next several months, I made a radical shift and began living from my heart. I was going to a Course in Miracles. I got into 12-step recovery. I began training with a person. His name was Brew Joy, and he was a psycho-spiritual teacher. He was a being of light, and he was my mentor for 11 years until he passed of pancreatic cancer. The irony is that in 1993, I was going to be with him for a month. After 2 weeks, they took him off to the hospital in, Phoenix. And he had pancreatic cancer then. And they did a radical new procedure called the Whipple. And so he survived it. And then it was 2009 when he died of pancreatic cancer. It was a different carcinoma. But the thing is that, we don't know what's going to happen. But what I learned from him was to live from my heart. He taught me how to channel healing energy. He taught me to be aware that everything serves. Everything serves. I might not see it now, and there were things that took me 50 years to realize how it served. And to embrace and accept all of me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Because we all are a light. So many years ago, I was a prayer chaplain for a very special woman. She was so inspiring to me, and she had went through many trials and tribulations. We would pray and talk pretty much weekly because her son was dying. Then she got cancer. I asked her, how do you get through this darkness? And she said she relied on God, her husband and family, friends, and her spiritual family to help her through. I really believe she benefited me much more than I did her. She taught me more. She taught me a lot. So even when people are going through darkness, they can still share their light with others. So even though anybody in here, we might be experiencing some darkness, you can still be helpful to others by sharing your light. That's, and that might be something as simple as holding the door open for someone, smiling for someone. You are a light. You are a light in the darkness, a vision, a beacon of hope. Look at your neighbor and say, you are a light. You are a light in the darkness.
Big beacon.
You are a vision, a beacon of hope. Because everybody in here is a light. And we're so blessed we get to experience this every week. What my friend also said to me is, I am tough. Meaning she was resilient. And she paid attention to the light in her. And the light she got from other people. So that's the thing. I hear ancient footsteps like the motion of the sea. Sometimes I turn, there's someone there. Other times, it's only me. I hear the ancient footsteps like the motion of the sea. Sometimes I turn, there's someone there. Other times, it's only me. So I'm retired now, but as a psychotherapist, working with people was often a paradox because people usually go to therapy because they're in a dark place. The irony of healing is that sometimes we need to identify and visit the darker places of the entrapped pain, guilt, fear, and shame in order to heal. So what we get to do is honor, care for, grieve, and embrace our unhealed wounds. And many who experience trauma were emotionally and psychologically dismembered, torn asunder. It's like they were just torn asunder because of the trauma they experienced. So earlier when I mentioned that Brew Joy taught me that everything serves, and it took me many years to see how certain things did serve. But as a child, I was physically, sexually, and emotionally abused. I've had a lot of therapy, gone to countless self-growth seminars, been in 12-step recovery to heal from these traumas. So I've done a lot of the work to heal. And what I began to realize is that these experiences were not just about me. There's more than David. There's so much more. And I am more than what I experienced. What I experienced was an experience, painful and shaming as it might have been. It was an experience. It's not who I am. And when I started getting that, the world opened up. And so, as a psychotherapist, I was able to have empathy and to relate to others due to my experiences. So they served me by helping me be a better therapist than I would have been if I hadn't had those experiences. If I hadn't, when I was at a women's clinic, 95% of my clients had been sexually abused at some time in their life. So the thing is that a lot of people go through all kinds of trauma. That whatever we've gone through and what we've healed from, all we're doing is being a light for somebody else. We're not any better than or lesser than. We're just sharing our truth and our own wisdom that we've gained sometimes through difficult experiences. However, in partnership with Spirit, we heal as we remember ourselves, as we bring ourselves back together. That's, we've been dismembered in some way, and we come back together. Because the reality is that I was not dismembered. I just felt like I was. I was still whole. I just had to learn that I was. one of the Psalms says, God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And another one says, my God turns my darkness into light. So I say this, hold on to your dreams, don't ever let go. There's a fire inside you, burning with hope. You know, I've been grieving for a while, really since last year. We lost our 17-year-old dog, Woody. My sister, Barb, died last fall. In early May, we went to see my 3 aunts, the last 3 aunts I have. Wonderful visit. Get back, about 10 days later, my Aunt Leah, who's the youngest, died. And then about 2 weeks after that, the oldest, my Aunt Libby, she died. So, and you know, that's difficult. And my Aunt Leah, I always felt loved by her. As a little kid, my mom had some mental stuff going on and wasn't necessarily emotionally available. But my Aunt Leah, I always felt loved by her. And so I've always had such a deep connection with her. And it's difficult. You know, and we're all getting older. Everybody in this room is getting older. So another thing I'm grieving is some health stuff going on. Okay, I mean, my wife is having some health issues. She's going to have some pretty big surgery in October. Some difficulty with memory. I've got aches and pains. I mean, everybody in here can relate to that, except for maybe some of the young whippersnappers. That's okay. Maybe you can't relate to it now. You will, I promise you. If you're blessed to live as long as I have, you will understand what I'm talking about. I don't wish it for you, but I'm just saying it's part of life. And that's okay. The positives far outweigh the negatives. So grieving is part of life. And you know, it's just, we all get to grieve. Here's something that I say to myself. God is in me and I am in God. God is in my feelings and my feelings are in God. When I cry, God is crying with me. When I laugh, God is laughing with me. So know this, God is in you and you are in God. And if you're crying, God is with you, crying with you. And when you're laughing, God is with you, laughing with you. So we're not alone. Sometimes we think we are, but we're never alone. I've had so much light in my life. My wife is definitely a big bright light, and y'all that know her know she is. But I get to come here every week experiencing all you beings of light. You guys are so giving and kind and such uplifting people. I am so blessed. So you know what? I'm willing to have the aches and the pains and the na-na-na. But you know why? Because the positives far outweigh it. I can focus on, yeah, my hip hurts. Or I can focus on, oh, Jason came up with that cool instrumental in the song today, you know. Jim Alexander walked in with that smile on his face today, you know. I mean, you know, Karen, Sharon, Garrett, Craig, Vicky, Reggie, Pat and Glenn, Carter, Igor, Barb and Bill, Mark, back on the back. We got Jim Cobalt and Tim Kaplan, you know, I mean, and Carter, and then Terry, I mean, and Allie, yeah. I mean, everybody in here, everyone, thank you for being a light. Thank you for giving me so much light, because I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed. So, I know we're getting close. I don't want. Oh, I remember we started 5 minutes late too. So, but the thing is, the light in this current darkness is appreciating all the love I receive here now, but also appreciating all the love I've received. You know, that visit in May, wow. I mean, we got so much love. My aunts, my cousins, little great nieces and nephews, their dogs. I mean, it was a love fest. Took my aunt to a Neil Young concert. I mean, you know, an 85-year-old going to a Neil Young concert. You know, she didn't quite know who he was because she's a little bit generation different. But all she wanted to do is be with us. So I'll say this. With the ones you love, treasure the time. And for those who are gone, keep the memories alive. Because that's the thing with grieving. At a certain point, the positive memories begin outweighing, you know, those sad, difficult feelings. And there's not a right or a wrong way to grieve. So be patient with darkness and growth. Confusion is not what it seems. Con means with. Fusion means synthesis. So with synthesis, Spirit is creating a new unified whole. So work joyfully with God and allow your light to shine. And people want to know, you know, how'd you come up with his name? I was in deep meditation many years ago, and this voice started saying, the darkness is for growth. The darkness is for growth. There is light in the darkness. And then my life started flashing. All these experiences I'd had in this meditation, some of these things that were really traumatic, but it was showing me how it did serve. It was showing me, you know, the healing work that I had been doing. And so it's like, wow, yeah, I mean, I had the darkness, but I'm in the light now. I'm healing, I'm growing. And so, you know, we talk about prayer and meditation in here a lot, and it's amazing some of the messages we can get at times. When I trust, when I let it be, when I let my light shine, then I can see that I am in God and God is in me. Harmony is light in the dark. This place is light in the dark. We are a light in the darkness, a vision, a beacon of hope. And as I said earlier, being in the darkness is difficult. How does one get through it? With internal, I keep forgetting about that thing. I laugh at PJ, then I realize, I just did it. So, with internal and external support. And in a moment, we'll do a song that talks about, you know, doing things together. So I'm going to leave you with some thoughts. Trust that all is well, and light appears in many forms. Let it be. Turn it over to Spirit. Let your light shine. Be creative. Be your authentic self. And claim you are one with Spirit, and or say to yourself, I am in God and God is in me. Thank you. Namaste.